And we're back with another Monday preview, guys. Now we are focusing on the Vegas Golden Knights. This is the first time that we've matched up with them this season. Should be an interesting matchup. Beginning of the road trip that we will get into later with our guests from Royally Quacked. But for right now, we're going to focus on the Vegas Golden Knights. We've got a couple of questions that I sent off to our friends at Vegas Hockey Girls Pod, and they have sent us back the answers. But for some basic Vegas information, as of right now, the time of recording, they're sitting third out of eighth in the Pacific. The only two that are above them right now are the Anaheim Ducks and the Los Angeles Kings. So the boys have a very, very, very tough week ahead. You're facing the top three in the Pacific for the entire week, all away. Granted, a lot of these games are spaced out. You know, we got a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Saturday. Nothing's really a back-to-back, even when you're in the same city. You're still not playing a back-to-back. So it'll be a tough week, but it could be a lot worse. So like I said, Vegas is sitting third out of eighth in the Pacific. Their last 10 at the time of recording is 4-2-4. They have kind of a comprehensive injured reserve as of right now, which seems to be a running theme for the Vegas Golden Knights. Big thing for Vegas is their captain, Mark Stone, is back. He was out for quite a bit, but he is back as of this weekend. But you still have Demick out on a day-to-day, Hill out on day-to-day, Carlson out on day-to-day, Lazan on day-to-day. Pietrangelo is out for the season. Big thing is we are playing them, I believe, December 2nd, and that is the first game that Carter Hart will be eligible to play in the NHL. We don't know if he will play that first game or if they are going to keep running their goalie tandem that they have been, but that technically is the first game that he is eligible for. So right now he is still out on suspension, but he's been playing down in Henderson, which is their AHL affiliate. So getting to some of the questions that I sent out to the pod. First one, kind of the big signing over the summer, the big trade, and then signing was Mitch Marner. Is Mitch Marner living up to the hype? It was kind of a mixed bag. And we've been seeing that kind of in social media too. Some are saying yes, some are saying no. But the consensus that I got from our friends was, he's still adjusting. The system in Vegas is very different than the system in Toronto, which makes sense that he's going to take time to adjust, not only to those playing environments, playing hockey in Toronto and playing hockey in Vegas, I would imagine is like two different ends of the spectrum, but they are also going to run a completely different system. But, it may benefit Marner in the long run that he is not being, the guy to being relied on. He is not the Jack Eichel that Vegas seems to rely a ton on. It may help him. So I think right now they're kind of just in this phase where they're letting him adjust, figure out what he's kind of doing within their system. It seems like some guys that I asked them who has stepped up with all of these injuries, because Vegas is kind of like a revolving door. It seems like you got one guy back and healthy with Mark Stone, then and you got some guys coming into injured reserve. Big one to look out for. One is Akira, and then two is Bowman. Bowman's definitely been the talk of the NHL in terms of guys that are succeeding very well in Vegas. And he definitely, he came up with all of these injuries and has kind of shined. So it'll be exciting to see what he does with Vegas. He's definitely a guy to watch out for with this matchup. Should be pretty entertaining. I asked him what's the biggest hurdle, with Vegas right now. Granted, Vegas is, similar to other teams like your Edmonton, like your Florida, like November really doesn't matter. Let us just get to the playoffs sort of thing. But still, there's always things to be worked upon. What's the biggest hurdle? Biggest hurdle, they said, was, consistency. It's kind of been a lot of, the roller coaster up and down that we're familiar with. And power play. If their power play could get better, which I hope it gets better after our matchup. Because as of right now, boys are on a bit of a losing streak. But anyway, but it should be an interesting matchup anyway, just because penalty kill is definitely one of our stronger suits. So maybe we're able to hold them off during the power play, but they labeled those as the biggest hurdles for the Vegas Golden Knights, obviously, because they're still doing fairly well. You're sitting third, which is not a bad spot to be at, especially in the beginning. There's still a ton of season left. Obviously, we're only at the tail end of November, beginning of December. And then I gave them, their predictions, and it was kind of similar to what I said, where, Vegas is very much we just need to make it to postseason. We just need to make it to postseason, which I think has been the track that Vegas has operated on for the past couple of years is, we need to do enough to get to the postseason. And, they have a lot of talented guys on their roster. So that's not necessarily a struggle for them unless every single person goes out. And that's just crazy. So yeah, it should be a very fun matchup. This is definitely an older roster. They do have some younger pieces, but this is definitely an older, more veteran team. So another kind of men against boys, as I say all the time on the pod, at the end of the day, you face Vegas when it comes to size and physicality. So I think that's going to be a huge thing against the boys this week, against Vegas is, we're small, we're fast. I think this is going to be a big show me point to Colton Dock, to Sam Renzel, to Louis Crevier, and to Alex Vlasic in terms of, putting their glove everywhere that they can, using their physicality to the best that they can for this matchup.
And continuing on with our Monday preview, guys, we have Gary from Royally Quacked coming back on to talk all things Los Angeles Kings. Gary, thanks so much for coming back.
My pleasure. I had such a good time last time with you and your dad. You guys have an awesome podcast. Blackhawk fans are lucky to have you guys.
Oh, thank you. California is lucky to have you guys as well. Big
Thank you.
fans of the show.
Appreciate
it. So I know we only talked a couple of weeks ago. It feels like a lifetime ago. This season is going by so fast, but then so slow at the same time. But it's been a couple of weeks. Kings are doing fairly well. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It could be better, it could be worse, but starting off positive, what's going right for the boys?
Well, they're still in a playoff spot, which totally shocks me because we seem to go to overtime almost every game anymore. And it's a little frustrating because we've come out on the bad end a lot of times. I think we're tied for the most one-goal games in hockey. We have 15 out of like 22 games. I think we played 22 games. So there's only been 7 games decided in regulation. And it's just a little difficult to go there all the time. I mean, we're always on the seat of our pants. I guess it's exciting when you come down to it, thinking about the competition and the extra time. But, I like to win some games in regulation. And when we were scoring goals, we were giving up way too many goals. We seem to have shored that down, and most of our games now are relatively low scoring. Coming back to that defensive-minded team we've been since we won 2 Stanley Cups. So, but that's where we are right now, and we're just kind of squeaking by into the playoffs. And shocking, there's 2 teams above us that nobody thought would be there.
That is true. That is definitely true. With the games going into additional, past the 60 minutes, do you feel like it's more the boys are trying to like catch up, maybe give up a couple of soft ones in the beginning and you're playing catch up, or you've got the lead ahead and you kind of taper off in the third and the other team's able to capitalize?
Well, it's been a little of everything this year. It's just been, we just can't finish the game. And the struggle is when we go to the shootout, some of the attempts that we see are just pathetic. I watch what some of these other players do on other teams, and the goalie has no clue what's happening, and they seem to be able to read us from the start. I mean, we do score. We have won a few games in the shootout, but we put like Corey Perry out there, who's a goal scorer, and it was like, I think I could have done better, and I can't even skate. I mean, Corey Perry's been a great addition to our team. Don't get me wrong, and he's played really, really well. But on that attempt, I can't ice skate. I thought I could have made a better attempt on it. So I mean,
definitely one that I wouldn't automatically assume you'd throw out there for the shootout.
I mean, because I know he's been trying other people. He's put Byfield out there, and Byfield is not really great at the shootout. I mean, Kempe is, Fiala is, he does send out Trevor Moore at times, because Trevor Moore, he seems to score a lot of shorthanded goals. He's probably one of our leading scorers in shorthanded goals. Although Joel Armia is, I think, the leader. I think he's got like 3 or 4 already this season. And what a great pickup he ended up being. I just thought he was going to be a penalty killer. So
very glad. That was a great pickup by the Kings. So as of right now, granted, we're recording this a little early because it's, the holiday week. But as of right now, you guys are sitting 3rd out of 8th in the Pacific. What do you want to see more of? That, what do they need to do in order to maybe jump 1 and 2, or kind of just keep where it's going and hope that the number 1 and number 2 start to slip off a little bit?
Well, I'm going to say that first thing, we're going to play number 1 on Friday. We need to beat them.
Good.
We need to beat them at the pond, as Cody he calls it the pond, not the Honda Center. And I kind of agree, because ducks float in a pond. They don't float in a Honda.
Right.
I've never seen one drive one, but dang, I think in Orange County, man, everything's orange out there, and those guys are playing some great hockey. But I think we just need consistency. We need consistency in everything we do. And it just seems that we have these lapses, because, if you think of a wave is up and down, and that's pretty much what our season is right now. It's up and down. We haven't had a lot. We've had that one road trip. We went like 4-1-1, was great, but we couldn't win at home. It took us 10 games to win on regulation, 10 games to lose or to win in a regulation game.
Dang.
So, and we had 9 points in 9 games, and that was a record without a regulation win. We shared that on our podcast back when that happened. I don't know if anybody else knows that, but that's we need consistency. We need Byfield to step up. He doesn't, I look at Bedard. Bedard is younger, and he's already doing it. Byfield needs to be that. Kopitar is not going to be here another year after this. He's going to have to step up. And if he doesn't, we have to pick up a 1C. I mean, I'm afraid to say it. He might be a 2C the rest of his life if he doesn't pick it up. I think the ability's there. It's just he's not finishing. So,
and I feel like if he is a 2C, I don't feel like it's the true end of the world. Like, it's definitely a letdown, because you expected him to be the 1C. There was kind of the expectation that he is not the next Kopitar, but in terms of positions on a roster, he is the guy to kind of slot into that top spot. But I mean, he's still a pretty dang good 2C. And number 1Cs are hard to come by.
They are very hard to come by. He does play 200-foot hockey. He's a very good defender, and I'm happy with just about everything. But his scoring isn't consistent. He needs to score more, and he needs to get better at faceoffs. I would hope every practice that he has to go against Kopitar and he learns something. But him and Deneau are pretty good. He's probably our worst face-off guy, and he's going to be a 1C. That's hard to deal with. So that's what he needs to improve. That he needs to prove to us that he is going to be a 1C. And I still think the ability's there. I mean, you watch him play. He works hard. He does a lot of great things. I don't know how many times he's hit the post this year. I think he's hit the post more than he's hit the net. I think he has 4 goals. I bet you he's hit 10 posts in the 22 games they played. He hit one the other night. Yes. And that's kind of frustrating. I mean, but on the good front, the one thing we've not touched base on, what the Kings did is they finally signed Adrian Kempe.
That was going to be my next question. You can take a sigh of relief. Your boy was here for a long time.
And if you see the contract, we shared it last week on our podcast. It's so different. It's like he's getting a lot up front in signing bonus. Like the first 3 years or maybe 5 years all have a signing bonus in it. It's a lot, mostly I think 1 million and 11 million for 2 or 3 years. And then it goes to, and I can't remember what it is, but
it
and
definitely
but the last 3 years it's just a flat contract, and it's less than the upfront money is going to be 12 million, I think, for the first 3 years or the first 5 years, and then it goes down as he's getting older, which you tend to play with a little bit less ability as you get older,
right?
So it's going to be a good contract for the Kings. I mean, I think if he would have waited and gone free agency, he would have gotten 13 or 14 million. I mean, we see
for sure.
Kaprizov got 17. I mean, I know McDavid put a little hinge in that by signing for 12 and a half for 2 more years, but he did that because he doesn't believe there can be Stanley Cup champions, and they have to prove it to him over the next two years. And what a free agency that might be.
Yeah,
that's probably 20 million a year, if not more, by that time in 2 years for him. So, but Kempe being signed is a relief for all of us. We don't have to do a complete overhaul or at least a huge retool. Having him in is going to give us some stability.
That was one thing we talked about slightly on our show when Kempe extended. We were talking about, because there were some people that really liked the contract. There were some people that didn't. I always figured that he was going to sign, just because the Kings never seem to be a team that goes through a full, like, burn it to the ground rebuild sort of thing. Like, yes, the old guard of the Cup teams are almost gone, but you guys have never really gone through like a big dip of like 4 years of like bad hockey. You guys have kind of just like always pivoted and continued.
Yeah, we've built with free agency. I mean, like picking up Philip Deneau was great before we even got back into the playoffs again. Picking him up, we've done a lot of nice little pickups that people just didn't expect would lead to the fruition it did, because I mean, I think he scored 25 or 27 goals this first year. He hadn't done that at Montreal. He was a penalty killer, and he would score some goals, but he was just one of those guys you don't want to play against, So we've done a really good job of picking people up, like Joel Armia. We only play Montreal a couple times a year. So when we picked him up, I he was kind of down that list. I'd never even paid attention to him. I go, who is that guy? And then I saw he was the 4th leading time on the penalty kill in the NHL last year. And that's where we're at. So it's been a really interesting season, ups and downs and frustrations. The last time we played you guys, it was a hard fought game.
Oh, hard for sure.
Game. I was so disappointed in the team at that time. I thought for sure you guys would wax us. But we somehow pulled through, and I don't know. Are we playing in LA this?
So you're playing. So we go to Vegas, and then we go to Vegas on Tuesday, play LA Thursday and Saturday, both in LA. So we have a back-to-back, but we're not flying anywhere.
Oh, well, that's a convenience. Maybe they can go to Disneyland on the in-between day and not practice.
I'm hoping that would be fun for them. I doubt Connor would, just because if it's not a rink, he's not there. But yeah, no, it's very nice for the boys. And I mean, you guys are home, I think, for the entire week, basically, of that first.
Well, we had that really long road trip, which really we played so well in. We've been hurting at home, and we were the number one home team in all of hockey last year. So, I think I've said this on our podcast, but if I didn't say it, I thought it. I go, we're fickle like a teenage girl. We just don't know what we're gonna do. It's just you can't figure out what's gonna happen. I go, I guess that makes it kind of interesting to be able to go because you just, as Forrest Gump said, you never know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. Exactly. Jumping to, we talked about forwards and everything, but you've got some kind of injuries on the defensive end, a big hole. You got Doughty out for like a couple of weeks, I think. What are you expecting? Is it kind of just this is going to be a giant hole until he comes back? Are you expecting certain guys to step up? Are you, is this kind of a crossing of the fingers for the next couple of weeks?
In a way, it's a blessing because they're going to be forced to play Clark more minutes. And he won the game winner the other night. So to me, we need to have Brant Clark become what we expect him to be.
Yeah.
And we got to give him that time and that effort. And I think it's starting to happen. It was slow going at the start of the season, and I think we've struggled a lot because we do depend on Doughty too much, and we didn't even have him last year, and yet we still had we had a better record than Edmonton last year in the regular season. So the sad thing is without Doughty, there really isn't a big offensive defenseman left. Everybody's a defensive defenseman. I mean, Edmondson has a great shot, don't get me wrong. And he's probably the next best scorer we have.
But there's a difference.
But he's not the one. He's going to have that big shot. He's not that one that makes the great play with that great pass. I mean, he makes passes, he gets assists, don't get me wrong, but it's not like Clark and Doughty, what they can do. So we got rid of the other offensive defenseman that we had, and I didn't agree with that. Jordan Spence looks like he's playing great for Ottawa, and everybody's still wondering, why did we trade him? Is that just because of Clark? I don't know. I mean, that's the answers I'd like to get from Ken Holland. I've been questioning him from day one of what he's doing. I think we talked about last time. I thought he overspent for some of these defensive defensemen that we signed, and we gave him kind of long contracts for guys that weren't all that great anymore. I mean, they played okay. They've been all right, but you spend $4.5 million on a guy that's a third line defender. It's way too much money, at least in today's market. So, but that's where we're at. We're going to have to live with it. I'm just hoping Clark comes through. He did, obviously, was it Monday? Yeah, Monday, because they play Monday, Friday this week. And then we don't have games, I don't think, till Well, we do our games Saturday to Friday because we do the podcast on Saturday.
Fair.
So, I mean, we'll have Chicago once next week, according to me, and then the other game will be next week.
Yep.
So, and you know what, like I said, what's really been amazing is a lot of the teams not expected to be well have played well. I thought you guys have played well. You guys are way better than last season. Seattle's played better. The Ducks obviously are.
Seattle's insane. They're insane. I'm happy for them because I think a lot of people were, crapping on them pretty early, with like, what are they doing? But they're playing like Joey Decourt is playing like he wants to go to the Olympics in February. He's gonna have to get in line behind Spencer Knight, but he's playing fantastic.
Yeah. They've always had the players. I can't figure out why they haven't done better.
Things are
it's been a question I think a lot of people have asked. It's funny is we did a March Madness during the off season of hockey. You want to know who the Minnesota Wild won it, but the Kraken beat everybody in the West. I mean, on the Pacific. They were the team from the Pacific, and they had to play the Wild and lost. And then the Wild beat whoever I can't remember who they played in the championship game because Cody did he has the NHL game, and he did a whole thing on it, and he didn't tell me. So I was surprised in the podcast what happened. And I go, you're kidding. The Minnesota Wild won March Madness. Who would have guessed that? Not me.
Yeah.
You think the Kraken would have been the best team from the Pacific?
No.
So, I mean, but see, that's a game with just stats in it. And, in real life, there's so much more to the game that can be put into a game that doesn't make it real. I mean, as realistic as these games are, they're not out there playing. There's so many other factors that come in. And, so, and it's been a fun season to see I think it's been topsy-turvy in a lot of,
we were just saying that this week. It's really nice to see kind of a shift of teams that, haven't been doing well for the past couple of years, starting to be past the knocking on the door stage. Like the Ducks are here, and then see teams that have had long, successful runs finally start to slip.
Yeah. Like the Sharks, we've had 2 games against them. They outshoot us 40-14, and we beat them 4-3. And then we outshoot them about like something the same, and they beat us 4-3.
Wild.
I mean, they were the doormat,
right?
According to all the predictions early in the season. And I got to tell you, there's some scary talent on that team. They scare me. The Ducks scare me. You guys scare me. Montreal scares me. So I mean, all these teams, it's fun to see. It's not the same teams all the time. Dynasties are great if you live there, but they're not great for all the other fans.
Oh, for sure. And I think, like you said, dynasties are great, but I'm excited to see who ends up being the next sort of, like Florida the past couple of years, like Edmonton, who are the next bigger contenders that might be successful for the next bit. It's exciting.
Well, both our teams had a great 5-year period. Yeah. You guys won 3, we won 2 in those 5 years.
Yeah.
Let's get back to that. I'm all for it.
Give us a couple of years. I think we're like 2 years behind Anaheim, but we'll be.
I have no doubt you guys will be. I mean, it seems like they're going in the right direction. And you got a fun team to watch. And they're competitive. These guys are all pros.
Yeah.
Obviously there's those games where you get waxed and it just nothing goes right. But you just got to forget about that because you're going to put a wax on somebody else in the future. So,
exactly.
I mean, but hockey is so much fun. I like to watch it all the time. It doesn't even have to be my team to watch. So
No, it's definitely it's the best sport, obviously.
yeah.
Gary, final question. With the
Sure.
Kings, we've got Kopitar leaving, unfortunately. Is there any word of like, is the team doing anything? Like I know some players, like when Fleury had his final year last year, it was kind of like a farewell tour sort of thing. Are there anything, special for it being Kopitar's last year? Or is he kind of trying to fly under the radar with
Well,
it?
I am pretty sure come February, March, we're going to hear about a statue out in front of, I still call it Staples Center. It's crypto.com just is
That's weird.
foreign words to me. There's probably going to be another statue out there. But the neat thing is I know he's already had traded jerseys with Crosby. People have been acknowledging him, and it's not highly publicized because obviously hockey seems to be second to just about any other of the big sports, which is, I think, starting to change. Because obviously we have people like us out there and you guys and others that are trying to let the world know what a great sport hockey is. But there are things like that going on in the background where, he's traded sticks, I'm sure, and stuff, but there's probably going to be a big thing later in the season towards the end for him, probably a big ceremony. I mean, I know he announced it earlier than Dustin Brown did, but you saw he announced it, and look how fast that all happened.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that same thing is going to happen. I mean, we're eventually going to have a Jonathan Quick statue out there, and Anze Kopitar, and who knows, and Drew Doughty.
Just put the whole group out there.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously with the Stanley Cups and everything that we finally broke through after all those years and won one, and then it skipped a year because you guys took us out, and then we won the next year. I mean, we battled those 2 years. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a battle. Somehow that first year, somebody took you guys out before we got to you.
Yes.
But I mean, those last 2 years,
I think it was Vancouver.
We took Vancouver out our first year in the first round. We were the 8th place team. It wasn't like it is now. It was 1 versus 8. Vancouver was the top team in the West, and we took them out. And then who did we play? I think we played Phoenix. They were the Phoenix Coyotes back then. Or did we play them in the final? We might have played them in the championship of the Western Conference. Vancouver, I can't remember who the other team was, but Vancouver was the President Trophy winner that year for the most points, and we took them out like 4 games to 1 or something like that. That was that crazy. We just got hot at the right time. So,
hey, it happens.
It does.
Gary, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking all things Kings.
You guys, we have Cody once again from Royally Quacked to talk all things Anaheim. We'll have played them once by the time this comes out, but then we still have another matchup, and then the boys go to California for a bit. Cody, thanks so much for coming back on.
Well, thank you for having me again.
Of course. So first and foremost, the Ducks are hot right now. Everybody kind of knows that.
Yeah.
Ducks are, they've been knocking at the door for the past couple of years, and they are here. What specifically, if you had to pinpoint certain things, is going right for the boys right
now? Coaching. That's one. To go from Cronin to Quenneville, that's enough said already. You could just tell the way these guys are playing, and we're scoring, and the veterans are playing well. The young guys are stepping up, which is what we've been wanting for the longest time. So, Carlson looks like he's a Hart candidate. Dostal's looking like he's a Vezina candidate. I wouldn't say we have anyone in the Norris race, but I would say Beckett Seneca is definitely up for the Calder. So he's been so much fun. To be honest, the way he played in the rookie face-off and the preseason, I wanted him to go back to juniors. And then now he's proven me completely wrong.
I love when that happens. When they just prove you wrong, you're like, yeah, what do I know?
Yeah. I'll eat crow, but it feels great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have no problem eating crow if it makes my team better.
Yep. Definitely. On the flip side of that, I mean, because obviously the boys are hot right now, but is there anything that you, or anything out of anyone in particular that you want to see more? Maybe not that they're doing bad, but maybe a yes and.
I would like for us to stop taking stupid penalties.
Same.
So I mean, in the game against Minnesota, we took 7 penalties. 2 of them were double minor penalties. I think we had a total of 6 penalties, and that was just high sticking alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I would say Mason McTavish is probably one of the top people that I would say needs to step it up a little bit more. I would say he was the one I was thinking about more of a breakout. I mean, he's looked good, but there's just some games where he could tell he can be a lot better than what he's showing. So I would say that, and our defense just needs to learn how to tie sticks up more in front of the net.
I feel like that too comes with age, because your guys' decor is pretty young. Too.
Yes.
It's not all complete babies, but you've definitely got one of the younger decors.
Yeah, I would say so. Especially when Gudis was out, I think we had 4 guys that were all under 22 or 23 younger. So, and that was when we were winning that 7-game winning streak. That was without Gudis.
So just keep your captain on the bench.
Yes. Well, I love Gudis, but there's other players I would rather have in.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. One other name that was not recently, but I want to say within the past couple of weeks, there were, rumblings of this guy's falling down in terms of where he is in the roster in terms of line position and not getting as much ice time as he wants is Mityukov.
Yes. Minty. I would say out of the younger goal defenseman, he's definitely not looked up to par as what everyone was expecting. I mean, being a top 10 pick and everything, he had a great first year. Last year he struggled, but I mean, so did the whole team. Minty's had good games and he's had some bad games. His defense can take a step up and everything like that. And I think having a couple healthy scratches, I know it wasn't the best for him, but I think it's also kind of a kind of kick it into gear, hey, if you don't start playing better, I thought he should probably go to the AHL. I know it's not a confidence kind of thing, but I'm like, you'll get playing time, maybe you'll realize okay, maybe I need to do this more. So Minty, I like the way he plays, but he's been noticeably bad defensively.
Is it kind of that it's been a long term just across the board he hasn't been playing as well as he's getting stuck in some different situations, and so there's just more of a spotlight on him because he's getting in these worse situations?
Like I said, it's not a constant why is he in the lineup kind of thing. It's just it's very a few plays a game where it's deflections right in front of the net, it's hey, you should have tied up the stick or boxed out the player kind of thing, and it's always Minty's right there kind of thing. It's but it's not oh my god, why did he make that pass, or oh my god, why is he not playing defense? It's not like that. It's just little plays here and there that he's just making more of those small not making those small detail plays that the other players are making.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, staying on that theme, then he's more of an offensive defenseman, right?
I would say
Or
yes and no. I would say Lacombe and Zellweger are more of the offensive part, and stuff like that. I would say he's more two-way than offensive. I would say, like, if we're going like offensive wise, it's probably gonna be like Lacombe, Zellweger, then Minty, and then I would say if Trouba's been one of our best offensive defensemen, surprisingly. I mean, he's only. Who would have thought that he's only taken 2 penalties all year? So I never would have thought that.
But that was my kind of thought, and correct me if I'm wrong with the Ducks, is I think he was leaned on a couple of years ago more offensively. And with I'm a big Zellweger fan.
Yes.
I think with the emergence of him, you now, as you said, you've got your 2 offensive defensemen.
Yeah.
You're expected to play better D and let them go do what they want to do more. Right? Is that on base or no?
No, you're pretty on base on that. I still think he can show a little bit more offensively because he's not on the line with Zellweger or Lacombe because they're all he's the third line left-handed defenseman. I mean, Lacombe's number 1, Zellweger's number 2, and Minty was usually the third line left D. So, like you said, he could have been taking that, and it's not like his defensive pair was usually Ian Moore, as it was lately, or even Gudis. I mean, they're not going to take the offensive power away from Minty. They're not. I would say Ian Moore's probably been one of the most breakout players we've had this year.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, we all love Zellweger here too.
Yeah, I just you watched him a decent amount in juniors, and he's one of those just smart players that just seems to do things right. And if he makes a mistake, it's because he's pressing. So
yeah, I love the way Zelly plays. Like, he's so much fun to watch. But yeah, but like as you were saying, like when we drafted Minty, yeah, he was probably supposed to be more of that offensive threat. But I don't think not even Verbeek knew that Lacombe was going to show up like this.
And that was as incredible as it seemed.
Yes.
Because I just was like, how does he become this? Yeah. I was pretty shocked.
Oh, I was too. And I knew about him. And it's funny, I didn't realize this in college that Lacombe was actually the power play quarterback for the first power play over Brock Faber. And I didn't know that until last year. I'm like, oh, so he does have some offensive to him. But you could just tell, like, I don't know, there was just something. And then all of a sudden it just clicked last season. Like, honestly, and I was thinking, hey, like, we should trade Lacombe. Like, this is before last season. I was like, I think we should probably get him to maybe bring some veteran presence into this team, make us a little bit better. But now I'm glad Verbeek does not listen to me. Well, for that part at least.
I hear you.
But yeah, like I said, with Minty, he offensively he probably needs to step it up a little bit more. And defensively, Zelly just keep doing he needs just to keep doing what he's doing. He looks fantastic.
It's so good. I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
But ours is stacked just on the other, and we got a bunch of righties.
Well, I mean, we can trade some lefty for righties. I mean, we have a lot of righties too, to be honest.
Yeah, you guys are pretty well stacked. So
yeah.
Chrissy, what else you got?
Let's see. I've only got like a couple more. I guess my one question is, we had Q here a long time, and I was just curious if he's still kind of does his same things. And Q was famous for, if things weren't working in the first couple periods, he went to the blender big time and mixed up his lines. Does he do that? He's got a lot more younger. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys have a heck of a mix.
Yeah.
But is he doing a lot of line changes later in the game, or does he keep it kind of set?
No, I think what he'll do is, like, so if in certain games, like if one line's working, he's not touching that line. But I have seen him mix it up. Like, I know to start with, we had Carlson with Kreider and Terry, and then we had Beckett with Cutter and McTavish. Now lately we've had Cutter with Leo and Seneca, and the oldest guy on that line is 21 years old, which is crazy, and that's the top line. And then Kreider with McTavish and Terry. So yeah, he has switched it up, and sometimes when McTavish was having some of those bad games, Harkins would come up. Of course, I would prefer Paling, but Paling has been injured the last couple of weeks. But he does do a lot of that line shifting. We did see Trouba on the top defensive pair with Lacombe, I want to say last game, which is something different. I know he had Ian Moore up with Lacombe a few times. And like I said, and I know Ian Moore is a lot of people don't know him, but I would say that's someone else to watch out for sure on the Ducks side. I would say he's probably been, other than Lacombe and Trouba, he's probably been one of our best defensemen.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were talking about, somebody getting healthy scratched to step up, I'm getting 2010 flashbacks of Q doing that all the time to everybody. I'm like, yep, I know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Well, he's an old school coach. It's you get you and your ice time during the game, and he'll I guess he's the same way as you're saying. If somebody's hot, they get more shifts, and it's just it's the way it's supposed to be, I think.
No, I haven't had any issues with this coaching, unlike a certain someone that shall not be named last year and everything. But you just tell there's a huge difference already. Even the players, you can tell just on the bench. I'm pretty this last Saturday when we played Vegas, we were down 2-0. If it was last year with that horrible coaching staff, we would have probably lost 5-0. But with this new coaching staff, I feel like there's just so much more positive and so much more energy with this team. And we came back and beat Vegas. We're 2-0 against Vegas this year, and that's never happened.
That's fantastic.
And I love beating Vegas. I love beating Vegas.
Same. Was Saturday the one where Marner basically passed it to Gauthier?
Yep.
Oh, God, that was beautiful.
That was the best thing. That was the best thing. Yes, I was like, oh, thank you for the game-winning assist, Marner.
And nothing against Marner. Ever since the poor Gauthier kid went to Anaheim, which good for him for going to Anaheim. He seems to be finding his groove. But when he had to come back and deal with the Philly nonsense, I kind of just extra pull for the kid. But very glad to see that he's doing well this year too.
It's funny that Philadelphia has such a rage against Gauthier, even though they got the same thing way back. Was it Lindros? Wasn't it? Lindros got drafted by a team, and he's like, I don't want to play for you. And Philadelphia reaped the benefits for that. So I was like, you can't have it both ways, Philly.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but if I'd rather have Lindros than Cutter. If I'm being all honesty.
Yes.
So, but I love Cutter. I love someone that shoots the puck. I don't have to yell shoot as much as I used to.
Yeah, that's a great thing to have.
Yeah.
Christy, you got anything?
I guess the only other thing you mentioned, the Vegas game, and I like doing these little things because I have a thought of what the Ducks are. And this way I get to ask and can be corrected or by somebody who watches them a lot. But Vegas is always known being a heavy team.
Yeah.
The Ducks are a heavy team, are they not? That's a big team. Some of them are young, but there's a lot of big boys at the forward position and defensively that I think my first thought process is they were all Zegris's and it was just a really skilled team, but they're a heavy and physical team. Are they not?
Yeah. No, when you have two guys on your team called the Trouba Train and the Butcher, that's already scary. I thought it was the second coming of the Anaheim Bash brothers. And then, Beckett Seneca, he looks like a powerful. He's hitting guys pretty well. Mason McTavish is a good guy to get. And then I mean, I made fun of this guy so much last year. I wish he was never in the lineup, but I love him in the lineup right now is Ross Johnston. You know, he's really good at forechecking. Jansen Harkins gets in the dirty areas. Nikita Nestorenko is someone that nobody really knows about, and I love the way he plays. He's not going to be on the stat sheets, but I recognize him play like he gets in the forecheck. He's creating turnovers. He's making great breakout passes. I love watching that. That fourth line is actually kind of fun to watch sometimes. But you're 100% right. Is like we are a heavier team than I would say we have been in years past, and I'm kind of happy because I feel like we're not getting bullied like we used to. So yeah, it was a bunch of Zegers as before, but now it's like we're not being bullied anymore.
Yeah, and it seems like and they have the ability to play any style.
Yeah,
they can match, and that's huge. There's a lot of jealousy in my voice. That's all. It seems like everything's really coming together nicely.
Yeah, but I would say, and as a hockey fan in general, you guys aren't that far behind with the way you're playing right now. And I know you guys got some guys coming up, and I know that Mason West guy just won the college or his high school state championship for football and stuff like that. And I just heard him on the Spitting Chicklets podcast. Yeah. So I'm like, that's exciting. And then, I mean, Bedard is probably looks like he's going to make the Olympic team. Spencer Knight's turning into a Vesna caliber goalie. So at least I think you guys are probably maybe 1 to 2 years behind what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair assessment. We're about 2 years behind, and then it's seeing what the Ducks are doing is like, okay, see, it's all possible.
Yeah,
and I like the mix of veterans and young kids. I just think it's a sweet spot.
I know Granlund hasn't been much in the lineup, but I noticed like with him, it's a little it evens it out. But I would say the main person that I think that has helped this team is Kreider, because it's someone that I've been praising for the Ducks to get someone like him for the longest time. He gets in front of the goalie and blocks the view. He tips pucks. Nobody was doing that before. The goalie always had a good eye on a good view of the shot, and he was always making saves. But with Kreider's teaching guys like, hey, dude, get in front of the goalie. Beckett Seneca's doing it now, and because he's a big kid for his age. So yeah. And so like, I'm glad like someone like that is teaching the young kids like, hey, this is how you should be playing. And it's something I've been wanting for so long.
Good.
Very good. Yeah. I remember when Seneca got drafted and Christy immediately went, that's an Anaheim pick.
Let's just say my face was just as shocked as his was. I probably didn't say the same words as him, but I didn't hate the pick. I was just because I guess I'm not a big prospect person, I would say, but like I said, but the guy that I would say that's in charge of the Ducks scouting, Martin Madden, I trust him with my life. He picked Zellweger. He's picked Ian Moore. He picked Troy Terry in the 5th round. I mean, look, and Dostal. I mean, look at all these players that in the later rounds that we've drafted and that are coming up. That's Martin Madden right there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You love to see it. All right. Final one, because we've done our predictions. We've done our, hurdles with the Anaheim Ducks. Mm-hmm. But we'll do kind of both sides to the question. What is one thing that Blackhawk fans need to watch out for with the Anaheim Ducks for this matchup? And what's one weakness, if you had to pick a weakness? I know everybody's hot right now, but if you had to pick a weakness.
Right now, our weakness is sometimes just getting hemmed in our own zone for a little bit. And I know when last time we played, you guys took advantage of that a few times. And like I said, just sometimes just that cross ice passes. Sometimes that kills us. That killed us against Utah last time we played them. I would say that those are like sometimes defensively we're just not all there sometimes that I've noticed. So that's what I would say is our biggest weakness still. And then the other one was like something we need to watch.
Thing to watch out for.
Carlson. I mean, I would say just that line of Beckett, Carlson, and Cutter Gauthier.
future Olympian Leo Carlsson.
Can you imagine the top line for that is Carlson, Kempe, and
Disgusting.
Nylander?
It's
Can you
going to be
imagine?
disgusting.
Yes.
I can't imagine, but like that's one of those, like, everybody's throwing out their Olympic predictions right now, but like that is going to be the top line.
Yeah.
Like there's no if, ands, or buts around it. That is going to be Sweden's top line, and it's going to be disgusting. And I love that.
I'd be cheering for. I mean, of course, I want USA to win, but I want our boys to play very well over there. That's the main thing. Like I said, I hope Spencer Knight gets picked for goaltending. I think he deserves it. Bedard deserves it. I mean, is Vlasic American?
Yes.
Yes.
I would love to see him there. I think he's someone that I would love to see up there too. And I think because he brings a different element defensively that I don't think that we have for the USA defense for the Olympic roster. I would, and he's a big boy too. I would love to see him up there too.
Yeah, he's been top notch defensively. He might get squeezed out this one, but he was part of the World's team that won it.
Yeah,
which is again, most of the best players aren't playing in it, but
yeah, no, but I hope Bedard makes it. I think he 100% deserves it and everything. So I guess I've been very impressed with the Blackhawks this year, and they're making my prediction look really bad so far.
Mine too.
Yeah. So, but I honestly, I usually the league is better when Chicago's better. So,
yeah.
Very true. Very true. Oh, should be very exciting matchup.
It should be. I know it was a fun matchup last time with the
overtime. It was a very fun matchup last time.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Cody, thank you so much for coming on once again. Very excited for the matchup. Can't wait. We're going to have your counterpart on tomorrow to talk.
I apologize for that already.
To talk all things LA Kings. But yeah, once again, thanks so much for coming on.